So, let's talk about one of the wildest ideas in tech today, Elon Musk's Neuralink. We're going to unpack the whole thing. And yeah, it's a project that starts with medicine. But believe me, the final goal is something straight out of a movie. A future where your mind, your consciousness, could actually outlive your body. So let's get into the ambition, the reality, and the huge questions this whole thing brings up.
And this quote right here, it gets straight to the point. This is not just about, controlling your phone with your mind. Musk is literally talking about creating a digital backup of you. Just think about that for a second. Not just saving your memories, but getting brand new superhuman abilities in a totally different body. It's a mind-blowing promise.
Okay, so let's be clear about what this means. We're not talking about bringing people back from the dead or anything like that. The concept they're aiming for is digital continuity. The idea is to take a complete snapshot of your brain, all your memories, your personality, everything that makes you, you, and preserve it inside a machine. It's a technological backup of yourself.
But okay, that's the far-out futuristic stuff. Let's pull back to right here, right now. Before we get to digital immortality, what is Neuralink actually doing today? This is where the whole thing stops being science fiction and starts becoming medical fact.
And this slide really lays out the difference perfectly. Over on one side, you've got the huge vision, mind backups, superhuman powers, the whole shebang. But on the other side, the reality in 2026 is 100% focused on medicine. It's about giving autonomy back to people who are paralyzed and helping others speak again. It's a very real, very practical mission.
So, how real are we talking? Well, this isn't just a lab experiment. As of early 2026, there are 21 people, 21 actual human beings walking around with Neuralink's telepathy device implanted. This is happening as we speak.
And for those 21 people, the results are, they're life-changing. We're talking about people with severe paralysis, maybe from a spinal cord injury, or with ALS, and now they can control a computer, play video games, surf the web, all just by thinking about it. That's a level of independence that was completely lost to them. It's incredible.
So you might be wondering, how in the world do you get from helping someone play a game to backing up an entire mind? Well, for Musk, today's medical device is just the very first step on that really long road. So let's look at the roadmap he's laid out.
It's basically a four-step plan. Step one, and this is the big one for now, is to perfect the brain-computer interface technology. Once that's totally nailed down, step two is to use it to capture that detailed snapshot of the mind. At the same time, step three is all about building advanced robots, like the Optimus project at Tesla. And then the final step? You take that mind snapshot and you load it into the robot. A full mind-to-robot transfer.
Okay, so when could all this happen? Right now, it's all about those medical trials. For 2026, the goal is to ramp up production and start new trials for restoring speech. But the big one, the mind transfer, Musk himself has predicted it could be possible in about 20 years. We're talking around 2046. Yeah, it's ambitious for sure, but it puts a date on this crazy dream.
Of course, a prediction is one thing, a guarantee is another. There are massive scientific and, frankly, ethical hurdles in the way. This is the point where that grand vision collides with some very, very hard science.
And the first hurdle is just, it's the sheer complexity of it all. Your brain isn't a simple hard drive you can just copy-paste. It's a living, changing network of about 86 billion neurons, and those neurons have trillions of connections between them, all firing away. Capturing that perfectly, the scale of that problem is just staggering.
And that leads to an even bigger, murkier problem, consciousness itself. That feeling of what it's like to be you. Neuroscientists are the first to admit they don't fully get it. So if we can't even define what consciousness is or how it works, how on earth could we digitize it from a static snapshot of the brain?
Which brings us to the ultimate philosophical question, doesn't it? Let's say you do it. You upload everything. Is that digital being actually you, or is it just a perfect copy, an echo, while the real you is gone forever? It's a heavy thought. And from a pure tech standpoint, there is a huge mountain to climb. This table really puts it into perspective. What we have now, the current BCI, is amazing at decoding the brain's signals for movement, reading from a few thousand channels. But to back up a mind, you'd need to capture everything else: memories, personality, consciousness itself. That would require a resolution that's just orders of magnitude greater. The technological leap is just immense.
So where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway here?
At the end of the day, Neuralink is forcing us all to think about some really deep questions about who we are and what we could become. It's really about redefining what it even means to be human.
When you boil it all down, Neuralink is this really fascinating mix. It's like it has one foot firmly planted in practical medicine, changing real lives today, and the other foot is way out there in speculative sci-fi futurism. That tension between the real and the almost unimaginable is what makes this whole story so powerful.
But you know what? Maybe the most important point is this one right here. Even if that whole digital immortality thing never happens, the journey to get there could change everything. As this quote says, just figuring out how to achieve partial memory preservation could totally transform medicine, education, and even how we think about our own personal legacies.
And so we're going to leave you with this final thought. Whether Neuralink ever reaches its ultimate goal or not, it's pushing us into a brand new world. And it forces us to ask this really fundamental question. As biology and our machines get closer and closer, what is it actually going to mean to be human?